Here he comes. Here
The Japanese came up with this. This is a Japanese-produced cartoon. I think they thought every American child ate lots of candy and had a pet monkey. They were about 90% right. 100% on the candy and kind of on the pet monkey. Yeah, you're right. That's number 9, Drew Brees. Drew Brees, I think is how you pronounce it. Looking at how it's spelled, Drew Brees. American quarterback, it says. Former American quarterback. Anyway, that's who that guy is. Don't know much about him. I'm Tom Fitzmaurice. Let's go to the green phone. Frank in Araby joins us.
Hey, what's going on, Tom? Living down here in Araby.
You call that living? A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you're right. It's not Tom Fitzmaurice. It's Corey Johnson with you till 6 o'clock. 2 big hours coming your way. Miss Peach is fielding your phone calls. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. 766-9480. I don't watch much ESPN. I don't. I watch LSU games, Pelican game, Tulane, Saints, that type of stuff. I don't watch ESPN programming. I didn't watch the ESPYs, but I watched the Steve Gleason clips from the ESPYs. His speech, the pre-award video, great stuff. Drew Brees was up there on the stage presenting the Arthur Ashe Courage Award to Steve Gleason. Fletcher Mackel is going to join us Fridays with Fletch in a few minutes, about 10 minutes away. We'll get Fletcher's take on Steve Gleason and last night and the well-deserved ESPY. This is a strange comparison. I readily admit this, but it's the only one I can come up with, and it's just how I feel about it. Outer space is a hard thing to kind of conceive. Like when they say there are more suns in the galaxy, I shouldn't say galaxy, in the universe, excuse me, than there are grains of sand on planet Earth. There are more suns in the universe, and then there are planets around those suns. There are more suns in the universe than there are grains of sand on planet Earth. So it just, the mind can't take that in, just that space is, forever, no end, just folds over and keeps going. It's just hard to grasp. It's, I don't know, my brain can only go so far with it. When I try to have empathy and understand Steve Gleason's plight, my brain can only go so far with it. Like it shuts down, or emotionally I can't go there or handle it, or it's inconceivable. And Steve Gleason, just heroic in facing fear, is what I learned. You seem to learn something from Steve Gleason every time he says something. Speaking of Steve Gleason, I've got 50 big bucks to give away. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Yeah, you're right, 50 big bucks. Which position did Steve Gleason play at Washington State University? Which position did Steve Gleason play at Washington State in college? I think he was a 4-year starter. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. No cheating. No internet device. No search engines. None of the DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, Google, Bing. None of that. You either know the answer or you don't. 766-9480. Which position did Steve Gleason play at Washington State? Which other sport did Steve Gleason play at Washington State? Which other sport did Steve Gleason play at Washington State? Holds a university record in that other sport in a particular category. And finally, which coach and general manager brought Steve Gleason to New Orleans? Give me the answer to any of those three questions, and I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. New Orleans, Midcity, Metairie near North Kenner. They're in Mandeville. They're in Slidell. They're in Baton Rouge. WoodhouseSpas.com. Which position did Steve Gleason play at Washington State? Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Which other sport did Gleason play at Washington State University? Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Which coach, general manager brought Steve Gleason to New Orleans? 766-9480. Fridays with Fletch, less than 10 minutes away. Scott Craig from Katie's is going to join us in about 25 minutes, talking a little food on a Friday, trying to take it easy. Coming up in a little over an hour, Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. will join us in the 5 o'clock power hour. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you, Fantasy Friday. No, we hit all the tough topics all week long, good, bad, indifferent, and not scared to talk about anything. It could be race or anything. It doesn't matter. Republican, Democrat, I'm going to be critical. I'm going to praise where it's due. But on Friday, we try to kind of chill a little bit, for crying out loud, huh? Wear you out. Just telling Miss Peaches before I went on the air, just every day, the grind, man. You got to come up for air sometime. So Monday through Thursday, we're hitting it hard. And Friday, we still talk about the topics that need to be discussed, but we chill a little bit. No, it'll be nice to talk about Steve Gleason, his family, Rivers up on the stage in the white suit, styling and profiling. Brave little man right there. Boy, something huge. I talked to Michael Heck about this, and I'll talk to him in the 5 o'clock power hour about this exactly. Transformative projects. Something that's transformative, that makes the citizens of that area proud, excited, can be a draw to bring people into the area. What's a transformative project? The River District is a transformative project. But boy, it's been 3 years, not a shovel in the ground yet. The hurdles and obstacles that developers have to deal with trying to build something in the city of New Orleans is obnoxious. In Austin or Nashville, they'd be halfway done. They would have had shovels in the ground 1.5 years, 2 years ago. It's 3 years plus, nothing. That's transformative. But boy, that's like a decade-long project. That container terminal down in St. Bernard, couple of billions of dollars, coupled with the access road from Violet to the I-510, elevated access road, another way out, hurricane route out of the parish. That's transformative. A Mississippi River Bridge at St. Bernard at Chalmette, the I-510 extension to that bridge. That's transformative. I-49 coming through the West Bank to the Superdome. That's transformative. Mobile, Alabama. I'm talking yesterday about the Navy facility getting $20 million to jumpstart this $166 million project. And it's a huge grant, $20 million from the feds. But a big get. And I'm not saying it isn't. That's a topic with Michael Heck today. Mobile, Alabama got $550 million from the feds. A freebie, a grant. $550 million towards a $2 to $3 billion project, a new bridge, or I should say a bridge, period. A bridge, the Mobile River, an I-10 bridge over the Mobile River, and then a new Jubilee Parkway from that tunnel to the eastern shore of Mobile, kind of Mobile's affluent North Shore type area. They're going to get a 3-lane elevated I-10 like New Orleans East to Slidell, and they're going to get a bridge, a beautiful brand new bridge to complement their skyline over the Mobile River. It's a game changer. Corey Johnson with you. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your first home decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning has been doing my dry cleaning for about 35 years, literally. My mom, like 50 years plus, maybe 60. They've been at it since 1940. 84 years of excellence. Fourth generation. Dale and Don will take care of you exactly how they take care of me, like a champ. They're the biggest in the region because they've always been the best. Tired of your dry cleaner? Want to experience the best? YoungsDryCleaning.com. YoungsDryCleaning.com. Fletcher Mackel joins us from WDSU Channel 6 Sports. What up, Fletch?
Not a lot, Corey. I feel like I've been missing you, and I can't believe those words are actually coming out of my mouth. We had a little charity golf tournament, and last week I was on vacation, so it was, I feel like, what have I done without you for 2 weeks of my life?
That's so heartwarming. I feel like maybe playing a 30-second commercial and having you go to your room and grab that maroon coat and put that coat on while we do this segment, your maroon jacket from the maroon suit.
The maroon corduroy jacket is fantastic.
Or the green.
Winter look. It's more of a winter look, but sure.
Or the green.
The green suit I wear a lot still. I'm not going to lie.
Your Lucky Charms.
Maybe so.
Hey, Fletch, I'm not a big ESPN watcher of their programming, and I don't watch the ESPYs. But last night, how could you not watch at least the Gleason video preview and the Gleason speech? Steve Gleason getting the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. That's about as fitting as can be. And I don't know, I always learn something, Fletch, when Steve Gleason talks, and never thought about this. So, this specifically, but just how Steve Gleason lives with fear. It just...
Yeah. No, look, I am an ESPN watcher. I watch Get Up every day when I wake up in the mornings. That's like my morning routine. I read the newspaper, I get the coffee, I watch Get Up, then I start looking at some websites. And then, I do enjoy the ESPYs. But I'll say this, I don't know if I have a vocabulary strong enough to put into context what we saw last night, because they always do a great job with the ESPYs, the Pat Tillman Award, the Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Award, the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. They do a fantastic job celebrating some teams and recognizing some individuals. But that was one that is going to be one of the three best ever. I mean, the video that they did about what Steve and Michelle and their foundation has done and what he goes through. And then obviously the acceptance speech, it was just next level stuff. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. You said it best. I mean, it's going to be like Jerry V type. I mean, not Jerry V, Jim Valvano type stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, they may be replaying that one. I mean, there's been some great moments in the history of the ESPYs. Stuart Scott's speech was amazing when you look back at what he was dealing with and what was to come for he and his family, and how, the grace he handled it with. That's one of those great speeches. But Gleason's is going to be, he's on the medal stand now. There's people who could probably wax more poetically about the ESPYs, but I enjoy the ESPYs. Valvano's speech is probably, the gold medal winner. And then Stuart Scott and what Gleason did last night, those two are on the medal stand.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's like the Mount Olympus, whatever. It's hard to top. No, it's definitely must watch. You can go to ESPN.com. They've got his acceptance speech, and they've got the video preview before. So, and Drew Brees presenting, and Rivers, his son, up there. Definitely something to check out.
It was great.
Yep. No, I'm the same way, Fletch. I mean, we talk for a living, but I don't have the vocabulary or the depth of thought or whatever is required to appropriately express, what Steve Gleason's all about. One thing I will say, just what I know about Steve Gleason, covering the Saints back in that era. Like, you're used to things you're used to. You know the Saints facility, then you know it now. When I go out there today, I don't know the facility. Like, I don't know the Pelicans facility. I don't know the Saints. I've been out of sports covering that, for over a decade. So I'm not used to it at all. I remember going out there, and the back door by the old media room was the parking lot for the players. And it was just, Mercedes and Beamers and jacked up trucks I'm looking at rims and tires, Fletch, going, that's more than my car. Like, literally. Like, that's $12,000 in rims and tires. That's $20,000 in rims and tires. Like $200,000-$300,000 vehicles. And then there's just this piece of crap Jetta. Dirty. A Volkswagen Jetta, a little four-door Jetta. And then it's got kind of liberal, you think something like hippies drive, and it's got like bumper stickers on the back, this Jetta fueled by, Popeye's cooking oil or something like that, and it's Gleason's friggin' Jetta. I'm like, and I remember just talking to him when he played compared to players. It was like you were talking to the guy who, worked at the 7-Eleven, and you're like, how you doing today? He's like, living the dream. You're talking to some average guy. And Gleason's anything but average. 5'11", 200 pounds, no business being anywhere near the National Football League.
Yeah. No, look, it's one of those things where, and I think that's what made him perfect for that moment. Sometimes people come here now and they're like, what was so special about that moment? And it's one of those things where I know we get very provincial here in New Orleans about, if you know, you know. But after Hurricane Katrina, what everybody went through, how that affected everybody, that moment, that game, that release was what everybody needed. I know we romanticize it, but it's true. And what better person to do it? Not some superstar that isn't like us, but the guy who produced the biggest moment that kind of let us know maybe we're all going to be okay was one of us, a regular dude who we saw in ourselves kind of what could be possible.
I kind of think of like a hokey guy, John, when I think of what Steve Gleason's like. Hokey guy, John, was just a ridiculous overachiever, a 110%er, too slow, not quick enough to play in the NFL, and had special moments, even dominated it sometimes, and just kind of no business being there, but because he was a 110%er with pride and integrity and just go attitude, made it in the NFL and started and played. And Gleason's the same thing. Just I don't know, Fletch. That guy was a major overachiever. He wasn't fast. He wasn't quick. He wasn't big. But he was like hokey guy, John. All heart, 110%. Never quit, never die, and makes it at the NFL for like 8 seasons. Ridiculous.
Yeah, no. Look, 8 years, became a special teams captain. He and Fred McAfee were pretty funny. Fred McAfee one time jokingly told us that he goes, you guys keep trying to cut me and Steve Gleason, and we just keep making the team. He goes, everybody does their 53-man roster. Here it is. And it's like, oh, this is the year Steve doesn't make it. Oh, this is the year Fast Freddy's career comes to an end. But yet they both found a way. And again, that's what makes them special. And that's why, on top of all the amazing things that Steve has done since he was diagnosed with his terrible illness, even before that, he was memorable because of overcoming and overachieving and being special.
Yep. Hey, Fletch, let's shift gears real quick. Only got a couple of minutes left. There was a story on ESPN. I'm trying to think what the main story was about. But it shifted. I think I've got the story still pulled up. Let me see. The incident. Oh, it's Goodell on the Sunday ticket verdict. The NFL lost like $4.7 billion in damages. It could be triple. It's like to like $15 billion almost, but they're obviously going to appeal. But then at the end of the story, just sort of like an incidental, by the end of the year, the NFL is going to allow private equity firms to invest up to 10% into teams. And just hypothetically, if say the Saints are worth $5 billion, they're not paying $500 million for 10%. They're going to pay like $1 billion or more for the 10%. Because there's only 32 teams you're buying for today and the future, the way these teams go up. I find that really interesting. They're going to cap it at 10%, but by the end of the year, early next year, you're going to see private equity firms investing billions into NFL franchises.
Yeah, and I think, look, it's a way for them to allow lucrative entities. I mean, look, the biggest one that comes to my mind is the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, run by the Saudi Arabian government.
Yikes.
That operates LIV.
Yep.
So again, you're opening yourself up to worlds of money and equity that I certainly think the owners would want it. It's going to drive the prices of the franchises up even more. So
yep.
I certainly see why they're doing it. And then they're limiting it to a small portion of ownership to make sure that they don't have any type of regulation issues or PR issues.
Yeah, and that the owners will still control the team, yet get a huge influx of cash. If Gail Benson were to do this, and I don't think every team will, Gail Benson may or may not, it could be like $1 billion windfall for 5, 6, 8, 10% of the New Orleans Saints franchise. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. Fletch?
No, I find it fascinating, too, because I think it's a way for again, a private equity or investment that looks long-term and says we're investing at this because we're always going to be appreciating in value to get in. And it's certainly a way for the owners to make even more money.
Fletch, you're the man. See you next Friday.
All right, Corey. Thank you.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignment, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Thanks for checking us out on the radio, on television, on YouTube. Best way to find out where we are on radio, on television, on YouTube, CoreyTalks.com. Live streaming there as well, CoreyTalks.com. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Click to subscribe. Let's grow that YouTube channel. Steve Gleason last night, the ESPYs. I got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Some Steve Gleason-based questions. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. If we can get Miss Peaches off the porn, she might field some phone calls. 766-9480. Which position at Washington State University did Steve Gleason play? Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. 766-9480. Which other sport did Steve Gleason play? I didn't even know this. Knew the guy was an athlete. Which other sport did Steve Gleason play at Washington State? Holds a record in that sport. Which coach, general manager, brought Steve Gleason to New Orleans? 766-9480, Rouse's Markets phone lines. And were the Saints Steve Gleason's first NFL team, only NFL team? 766-9480, Rouse's Markets phone lines. 766-9480. You got answers? I got 50 big bucks. Just give me an answer to any of those four Steve Gleason questions, and I've got 50 big bucks for you, good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. You heard that commercial coming into the program, coming out of that last break. USA Today article. This is USA Today. They're like, you come to New Orleans, there are 10 places you have to go to get a bite to eat. And what was great about it, it wasn't like New Orleans top 10 restaurants. It wasn't, Clancy's, Le Petit Grocery, Brightson's, Irene's. It wasn't like that. It wasn't all high-end expensive. It was some of those, lower price, slice of pizza, po' boy, all different kind of places. Just you're visiting New Orleans as a tourist. There are 10 places you have to go. And Katie's was one of those 10 places you have to go. Katie's in Mid-City, one of the 10 places you got to go, according to USA Today. Iberville, corner Telemachus. Is that where Scott Craig is right now? Or is he at Francesca out in Lakeview? Or maybe he's in the rig, tooling in between. Who knows? Always busy. Scott Craig joins us from Katie's. What up, Scott?
Hey, brother. How are you?
Doing well. Where are we catching you?
I'm actually at home. I came home to walk my dog.
Nice. All right.
But I'm on my way back to Katie's tonight.
You ever does the pooch ever go to Katie's?
Wait, what, buddy?
Does the dog ever go to Katie's with you?
Oh, he has definitely been to Katie's with me. He has definitely been to Katie's with me. And when we get our brand new patio open, it'll be very dog friendly.
Nice.
It's already dog friendly outside.
Yep.
And I mean, you can even bring a pup inside if it's small.
Yep. Yeah, not my Tolly, because he'll leap over the counter and start chowing. Hey, Scott, it's funny. I had Fletcher Mackel on a few minutes ago. I don't watch ESPN programming. I don't watch the ESPYs. I watch LSU and Saints and Pelicans and Tulane on if they happen to be on ESPN. But I'm not a big ESPN watcher. Fletcher's the exact opposite. Wakes up to the morning show, watches it all day, loves ESPN. One thing's for certain, love it or not, if you're a New Orleanian, even if you're not a Saints fan, you'd want to watch that Gleason speech, acceptance speech, and the video that was before. Just really good stuff. Steve Gleason picking up that Arthur Ashe Courage Award last night at the ESPYs.
And I haven't seen it yet because I was at work, but I will watch it today.
Yep.
And I always watch your show on YouTube, so just to put that out there.
Nice. No, I didn't watch the ESPYs last night. I went to ESPN.com and caught the speech and the video preview there, which you can do. I didn't watch it either, but I watched that part and really great stuff. Gleason, Rivers was up there, his son. Breeze was the presenter. The video was great. Gleason's speech was great. Just it's awesome. It is awesome, and New Orleans has embraced him.
I've got two jerseys from Steve, autographed in Katie's, and one in Francesca. But the two at Katie's are his Saints jersey, number 37, and he autographed a number 37 Brother Martin jersey for me.
Oh, boy.
And I have that hanging in Katie's.
Well, the Saints one's great. I don't know anything about the Brother Martin thing. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, whatever. But I think it was cool.
Nope, not cool at all.
Steve is always there to do anything for anyone.
Kind of ruining it for me. The next time I see Steve, I'm going to ask him about this Brother Martin jersey signing. I don't mean to interrupt you. You were saying he does anything for anyone.
Yes. He's the Gleason Foundation is amazing. I've done a lot of work with them. Whenever they call, we're in. Whatever they need. Steve Gleason is an inspiration, an amazing man. And he's an inspiration for all of us to never stop fighting. Never stop. I mean, ESPN always promotes Jim Valvano, which was amazing.
Yep.
But Steve Gleason is just like that.
Oh, Valvano, Stewart, Scott, Gleason, those are the big three now. You know, it was two, now it's three.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, those are going to be Gleason's words, his speech, acceptance speech will be heard for decades.
I guess it's unfair for me to answer the questions of the day.
Yes, it is. You're not eligible. You're not eligible.
Because whenever I'm listening, I usually know your questions of the day. I'm pretty good at it.
Plus, that ridiculous Brother Martin thing just wrecked the whole program. I should have got on the McDonald's general manager from Carrollton Avenue after that Brother Martin crack.
The jealousy of you and Brother Martin is beside me, man. You should have just gone there, Corey.
It's called 5300 St. Charles Avenue. We're not out on Elysian Fields and Chili Gentilly. We're on St. Charles Avenue with the Blue Bloods, dude.
Let me tell you what, growing up in Gentilly was special, man.
Yeah.
It was a great place.
I grew up right outside of Gentilly. You're right.
It really was. I mean, growing up in Orleans Parish was a great place to grow up.
Yep.
We learned so much about people and who we are and the culture. And I was very fortunate to be a part of that, you know. But anyway.
I would rattle off the schools I attended, but that would wreck your whole segment. It would take me till 5 o'clock to finish.
But how many high schools you got kicked out of and had to start over?
Let's see. It wasn't high schools, but it was, let's see, Gaines, St. Pius, Newman, St. Andrews, Trinity, Jesuit, De La Salle.
That's crazy, man. At least you went to Gaines. That was in.
My dad was in the military. We were always moving? ?
Yeah. We used to play Gaines in basketball when I was at Cabrini Grammar School.
That was just nursery school. Then I went to St. Pius for kindergarten. And then Meg Farris on Channel 4. Her mom and family lived a block down the street, and Miss Farris told my mom, pull your kids out of that Catholic school and send them uptown to Newman. And all of a sudden, all 5 of us were at Newman the next year.
Really?
Yep. They all graduated, my brothers and sisters. But for some reason, after 5th grade, Newman told me to leave. I don't know what was going on.
Couldn't have been that bad.
It couldn't have been academic problems or something. And then, just continued down the path. Enough of that crap. Hey, Scott.
I just had a lot of tutors.
Oh, I had those too.
Brother Martin gave me a lot of tutoring.
Hey, more on Steve Gleason. This guy was special, is special, and was special when he was a player because, Scott, he was just an average guy, man. You know, I told Fletch last hour, I was like, he had like a diesel Jetta that ran on cooking oil, biodiesel back then. The rims and tires on the other players' vehicles were worth more than Gleason's Jetta,
Yeah. He's a great guy, man.
Hey, Scott, what you got cooking at Katie's tonight?
Oh, we've got an incredible menu, man. Today we had a meatloaf melt. We had pasta bolognese.
Oof.
We had oysters 3 ways. We had a spicy oyster, a Schlesinger, and a Bienville. We've got beautiful fresh flounder. We're stuffing flounder tonight. We only have 10.
I bet. I was about to ask, how many you got local fresh flounder?
Yeah, it's hard to get beautiful fresh flounder pockets. We're doing a lamb chop appetizer, marinated in rosemary. Pork belly BLT this weekend. Pompano on Papio.
Jeez, and what a menu.
In celebration of Bastille Day, which is Sunday.
Hold that thought, Scott. That is an insane menu. You got to run through that again. That is as New Orleans as it gets. Scott Craig is with us from Katie's. Corey Johnson with you. Coming right back.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Midcity and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Scott Craig is with us from Katie's. Scott, let's pretend I didn't ask that last question. Now, folks out there listening on radio, watching on TV, YouTube, this is as New Orleans as it gets. When I'm talking about Katie's, and I know I talk about them every day, and you might think, oh, Corey said that last week about Katie's, or he said that last month. Something I say pretty much every day is, why aren't you at Katie's right now? And as New Orleans as it gets, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, big portions, New Orleans specialties, old school. Now check out what Scott Craig has on the menu tonight and tell me if what I'm saying isn't absolutely true. Go through that again, Scott, and start with the 10 flounder you have. This is just a ridiculous New Orleans menu, man. Super creative and as New Orleans as it gets.
Yeah, tonight we're doing stuffed flounder. We will do pompano on Papio tomorrow night for Bastille Day, which is Sunday. We're doing stuffed double-cut pork chops. Stuffed pork chop with spinach, mozzarella cheese, Provel cheese, and Italian sausage. We have stuffed bell pepper with fresh blackened red fish on top. It's a seafood stuffed bell pepper. We're doing a bruschetta appetizer. For Sunday brunch, we are doing apple pie stuffed waffles, banana pudding, and we have watermelon salad all weekend for the heat because it's hot.
Lamb chop appetizer?
We have a marinated and rosemary lamb chop appetizer for dinner both nights.
You mentioned the pompano, you mentioned the flounder. I thought there was something else seafood you mentioned. Maybe not.
Pompano.
Yeah, no, you mentioned pompano, flounder. I thought there was something else the
pork
first.
Pork belly BLT.
Oh, the pork belly BLT. Yeah, not seafood, but yeah, that was what you mentioned. These are
we'll
just
have that tomorrow and Sunday.
Genius. Lunch. Yep.
And we're doing a bruschetta. we're doing very creative special boards along with our menu that has something on it for everyone.
Nice.
It's definitely difficult not to find something on the menu at Katie's.
Hey, it's kind of difficult to not come up with a specialty sandwich at Francesca. Either that you guys have, you got about a dozen, and then you can create your own.
Absolutely. Or pizza, or a salad, or a burger, or whatever you want. We've always got a special of the day. We usually do seafood on Fridays. I have to congratulate, off subject, one of my closest friends, Josh Rondino, who was the chief of the University of New Orleans Police Force. Today was made the superintendent of the Levee Board Police. I'm very proud of him. He's a great guy. He is a person that has given back to this community his whole life. And now he's the superintendent of the Levee Board. East Bank.
Yeah. It's Orleans, St. Bernard, and Jefferson, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. Just
great guy. I'm proud of him. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Just don't tell me he went to Brother Martin.
He did not go to Brother
Thank
Martin.
God. Thank goodness. Scott Craig's with us.
Josh, he didn't go to St. Aug. That's where Josh went.
St. Aug, Shaw,
I can't remember. He didn't go to
Rummel,
St. Aug. He went somewhere else.
Jesuit, De La Salle, even Chalmette, anywhere but Brother Martin if you got to do the Catholic.
Come on, bro. The jealousy is killing me, Corey. You are just jealous.
It's just a green light to bust on the Crusaders. I'm taking it, damn it.
Honestly, I don't even know how I got in that school.
Me neither. I would have called Bobby Conlon and said, Coach, don't let in this Scott Craig guy. Are you kidding me?
He was probably one of the reasons I did get in. That brother Carl.
Conlon was a bad boy, man. He was old school and ridiculously successful. I want to say
right tackle, cloud of dust.
I remember they had they go back-to-back state football, 71, 72. I remember some sticker when I was a kid, twice as nice or something like that.
We lost in 72. We won in 71.
Maybe it was consecutive trips, twice as
nice. We beat St. Augustine.
And lost to who the next year, like Ruston or Neville or something?
No, man. Neville was tough back then, too. You remember those Neville?
Yeah. Who did y'all lose to?
We beat St. Aug. We lost to Neville.
Yeah.
I think it was Neville.
Yeah, that makes sense. They were always good. Neville was ridiculous.
Kennedy had good teams back then, too.
Who?
Kennedy.
Kennedy did?
Yeah, they had some good teams.
The only address on Wisner Boulevard?
Only address on Wisner Boulevard. That's true, huh?
Well, I think the Department of Agriculture has a little address for that little parking lot that's jacked up in the air, but that's about
sure
it.
That's not Allen Toussaint?
Oh, it is. The front door is, but I think they've got a side gate that actually has an address.
Yeah.
But yeah, there ain't too many addresses on Wisner.
No.
Hey, Scott, how late is Francesca open tonight? Till around 8-ish?
Yeah, we're open till 8 on Fridays, 7 every other night.
Yeah, it's a Lakeview family-oriented joint, but I'm single. You got the flat screen TVs. It's good for the single person as well, but very family-oriented. Perfect fit for Lakeview.
All of my memorabilia is off one of the walls right now because we had to replace the whole wall. Water. So it's a cool place to just chill.
Yep.
Quiet. Unfortunately, too quiet. Especially this time of year. So we need everyone to come support your local restaurants.
Yeah, during the summertime, Scott's right. Make it an extra effort to hit the local spots like Katie's in Midcity, Francesca in Lakeview. Scott, always a pleasure, brother.
Thank you, my friend. Let's have lunch.
No doubt, we're overdue. That's Scott Craig from Katie's, from Francesca. I'll say it, from Brother Martin. He's a proud Crusader down on Elysian Fields. What's that, Blue Boy? You prefer 5300 St. Charles Avenue. I hear you, buddy. 5 o'clock powwow coming your way next. Don't move, New Orleans.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. Then we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Neutral Ground. It's the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. From the town of New Orleans. We talk a lot of stuff on a Friday. It's a fun show, and we're glad you're here. Thank you. Don't run over that deer. I couldn't come up with anything that rhymed, so I went with that, and that was pretty lame. Thank God Drew Brees bailing me out. I'm not a rapper. I can't even rap presents very well. Thanks for joining us. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Can I get a yeah, you right? Yeah, you right. Weekend's coming our way. The work week's in the books. Miss Peaches, we better blow that 5 o'clock whistle. We like doing that, don't we? Let's hit the 5 o'clock whistle button. Oh, yeah. I like that 5 o'clock whistle so much. Hit it again. We blow the 5 o'clock whistle a little bit after 5 p.m. only on Friday because we like putting the spotlight on this very moment right now. Learn it, live it, love it, embrace it. This little limbo period where 100% of the work week is suddenly in the books. And right in front of you, the entire weekend. We like smelling the roses. That's why we blow the 5 o'clock whistle. Brought to you by Katie's in Midcity. Scott Craig just joined us on the program. What a menu. As New Orleans as it gets, go check it out. The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, Iberville, Corner Talamacas, Katie's in Midcity. Yummy. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc.'s going to join us in about 10 minutes. Got a lot to discuss with Michael. A lot. There was an article today about I-10, and I know Ann Stelly and her husband live about 2 blocks, a block and a half off the Claiborne elevated I-10. They've been big proponents about removing it. We're in full agreement with that. I'm just, there needs to be a replacement, and that's where the Stellys and I disagree, but they're righteous people that are at the front lines of it, and they understand it, and I respect their opinions, and they're good New Orleanians that care about everybody, especially like kids and the inner city and making New Orleans work for everybody better and all of that. But we'll talk to Michael Heck about the Claiborne I-10 because Mobile, Alabama just got a federal grant. $550 million. Free money from the feds, a gift, a grant. Over $500 million towards a new Mobile River Bridge and a new Jubilee Parkway going from the I-10 tunnel to the eastern shore, which is sort of like the north shore of Mobile, their kind of affluent area. And just like the New Orleans east to Slidell, it's not quite that long, but the Jubilee Parkway is old school, like the old I-10 that got knocked out. 2 lanes in each direction, low, close to the water. Not that big, elevated, billion-dollar bad boy that we got. $1 billion, $900 million. The twin span from Slidell to New Orleans East, or New Orleans East to Slidell. $900 million for a little under 5 miles in each direction, a little under 10 total miles of road, 3 big lanes with 2 huge, emergency lanes, shoulders on each side. So like 5 lanes of roadway during like a hurricane evacuation. Mobile's getting $550 million, north of a $500 million grant from the feds. That's going to be a game changer. That is a transformative project for Mobile, Alabama. They're going to go from 450,000 in the metro to like north of 1 million within a couple of decades. They're already growing. They've already got big companies, big corporations like Boeing and others in Mobile. They've got a very forward-thinking mayor who's a white Republican in pretty much a black town like New Orleans. And they've embraced this guy, and this guy has embraced the black community. They've sort of thrown the typical liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat politics out the window in Mobile. And this white Republican mayor is embraced by the black community because he cares, and he's moving Mobile forward for everybody. It's refreshing. And now they're going to get something transformative for that city. Final Four 2031. New Orleans is a finalist. Usually, if you don't get like that one, you're going to get like the 32, 33, 34 one. So we should be seeing a Final Four within the next decade in New Orleans. We used to get those things a lot more often like Super Bowls, but so much competition, so many other cities with these new modern stadiums. Michael Hecht in less than 10 minutes. Last night, the ESPY Awards, ESPN. I don't watch ESPN. I don't watch ESPN programming. If it's a Saints, LSU, Tulane, Pelicans game, I'm watching ESPN. But I don't really watch any of their programming. I'm just not that into that anymore, and definitely not into ESPN all that much. I didn't watch the ESPYs, but I immediately went to ESPN.com. I still like sports. I go to ESPN.com every day and just look at the headlines, see what's going on in the world of sports. But I don't watch ESPN. It's like no offense to 46826. I don't watch the local news. I go to those websites and get the news stories, but I don't watch local news. Just go to the website and pick and choose what I want to read, learn about. Last night, ESPYs were special. You can go to ESPN.com and check out the preview video, the video for Steve Gleason, and then the presentation by Drew Brees of the Arthur Ashe Courage Award, and then Steve Gleason's acceptance speech, which will go down in history. They'll be replaying that on ESPN and other outlets for decades. It's like Jim Valvano. It's like Stuart Scott. It's going on the Mount Rushmore of ESPN ESPY speeches, these brave, courageous speeches. Valvano fighting cancer, passed away. Stuart Scott fighting cancer, passed away. Gleason's with us, battling ALS and just kicking butt and taking names, helping others with the disease. No, just last night, the big word was fear, facing fear. It's true. It's true. Steve Gleason is a warrior, more now than he ever was when he had no business being on an NFL field. 5'11", maybe 200 pounds, not fast enough, not quick enough. Steve Gleason's a great athlete, like out on the street with you and me. This is the NFL. It's like Hokie Guyjon. All heart, 110%. That's why Steve Gleason was in the NFL. All heart, 110%. Just incredible. Something the city of New Orleans should do for Steve Gleason, because he may not be a native New Orleanian, but he's an official New Orleanian, and he's more native than a lot of us, has embraced the city, married a local girl, heroic Michelle Verisco Gleason. They're so New Orleans, they got married on that blue bridge on Bayou St. John by Cabrini High School. That's called the Magnolia Bridge. That neighborhood was across the bayou from Cabrini. It's known as the Magnolia neighborhood back in the day. The olden days. They got married on that blue bridge. How appropriate is that? How appropriate would it be for the city of New Orleans to rename that Magnolia Bridge the Michelle and Steve Gleason Bridge? They may have to repaint it from blue because the last thing Steve Gleason is blue. He's the most positive force around. They need to rename that bridge the Gleason Bridge, the Michelle and Steve Gleason Bridge, where they got married, because Steve Gleason has embraced New Orleans. We have embraced him. He is New Orleans. When outsiders come to our city and love it like we do, we love those people. And Steve Gleason is loved, beloved, special, a warrior, and so deserving of that Arthur Ashe Courage Award. It's perfect. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. Yeah, you right. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Are you beelining across the causeway as we speak? Why don't you fire in a to-go order at Trey Yen? Better yet, why don't you go dine over at Trey Yen? South Shore folks, 25 minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center, you're at the front door at Trey Yen. 25 minutes. There's no driving on the North Shore, right at the foot of the causeway. You North Shore folks, Mandeville, Madisonville, Lacombe, Covington, Bush, Folsom, Trey Yen tonight for dinner at the foot of the causeway. It's not Chinese food, it's Chinese cuisine. Tonight for dinner, Trey Yen in Mandeville. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC, I got your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC, I got your cool spot.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint. Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Midcity.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, Baton Rouge, you know, there are 4 area helm, paint, and decorating locations now in Baton Rouge. Highland Road, Perkins Road, Jones Creek Road, Choctaw. With 7 New Orleans locations. Down here, we've been doing it for 55 years, Helm Paint and Decorating. When you got a paint in Metro New Orleans, New Orleanians know you go to Helm. Not going to the big box store, some national chain. Baton Rouge, you're going to find out soon when it's time to paint. You go to Helm Paint and Decorating. They're the best. That's why for over half a century down here in New Orleans. So 11 Helm Paint and Decorating locations in New Orleans, Baton Rouge. And Helm Paint and Decorating, New Orleans-based Helm Paint and Decorating, owns Texas Paint, based out of Dallas. They've been around since 1947. They bought 4 Texas Paint locations about 5 years ago. There are now 15 Texas Paint locations in the Metroplex of Dallas. 26 Helm Paint and Decorating Texas Paint locations for this New Orleans-based company. Pretty impressive. Helm Paint and Decorating. Michael Hecht joins us from Greater New Orleans. We talked about Helm before, Michael, but the Texas Paint acquisition is impressive. You know, in the Metroplex of Dallas, they do about $600 million of annual paint sales. $600 million.
That's a lot of paint.
It's one of the largest paint markets in America. Dallas-Fort Worth's about to become the 3rd largest metropolitan area. They're going to pass Chicago in about the next 5 years or so, Michael. They basically get a new Kenner, a new Slidell every year.
Yeah, that is breathtaking, and Texas just continues to do it. You know, first Houston, then Austin, then Dallas, and next is San Antonio coming on up.
Well, San Antonio, Austin, that's San Marcos. That's just going to be one megaplex one day, you know?
Yeah, you know, all connected by, ironically, high-speed trails, ironically powered by onshore wind and solar.
Hey, but let poor Louisiana send our National Guard troops over there. I guess Greg Abbott's going to have Texas National Guard guys and bulldozers moving berms and sand and stuff on barrier islands in the next few weeks. All right, I'll keep you out of that, Michael.
I wonder if they can help us for the Super Bowl, right? We could use them for that.
Hell yeah, we could. No doubt about it. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. Hey, Michael, let's jump right into it. I saw an article about redoing a playground off Claiborne Avenue, and I've met Ann Stelly and her husband. They live in the Tremay neighborhood, about a block and a half off Claiborne's, and they're big proponents of I-10 being torn down. I think there needs to be a replacement for it somehow. They just want to see it gone. I'm in agreement with them. That's kind of a topic that's been discussed for a while now. Even Joe Biden brought it up and then it's sort of faded away. Can you fill us in on, is there any news about I-10? It seems like it's dormant, the idea of dismantling it.
Yeah, I mean, I-10 was a tragedy when it was built because it basically bisected and destroyed, the Treme, or at least it's really entered the Treme, vibrant neighborhood in New Orleans, originally for Creoles and free people of color. But, since then, it's gotten its own importance. And when there was a movement to just take it down, like they did with the 280, or I think it was the 280, or one of the freeways in San Francisco on Doctavia.
Yeah. Milwaukee did the same thing. Milwaukee eliminated an interstate.
There was a lot of resistance to that from New Orleans East, particularly because they thought it would make it impossible to get into the city and over to the bank.
It would.
So, right now there's a lot of move between the Claiborne corridor project and the Super Bowl to beautify that area, clean up the encampments, put in markets, and make it better. And you can do that if you look at the area, for example, under the High Line in New York City. It's totally vibrant. And I think that's what's going to end up happening, is making a better version of what we have. I just think that the practicalities and politics around tearing it down completely might be too difficult.
The High Line's an abandoned elevated rail bed that's turned into like a linear park, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there are parts of it that were created, these overpasses around the Meatpacking District that were low and dark and dangerous. Not as expansive as what we have from the Claiborne Expressway, of course, but still a problem. And they put in farmers markets and beer gardens and restaurants, and it's not the same, but it shows that it can be done.
I just don't think that's people are going to go under the interstate to that type of stuff. I might be wrong, but I don't see it.
Yeah, right now it's being cleaned up. There are murals being put up. There's grass areas. They're going to be having markets and celebrations on the weekend. So it's going in the right direction.
Mike, I wanted to talk to you about the Bywater Naval Base getting this $20 million grant. I think that's huge. But before we do, mentioning the Claiborne, and then I'm thinking of this $20 million grant. Yesterday, I'm so excited. Today, I'm like so deflated. Not because the $20 million just seems like nothing. And I'm excited for Mobile, Alabama. I'm a fan of Mobile. Kind of part of New Orleans in a way. At least if you're a New Orleanian, you go to the beach, you go to Mobile, you go to the panhandle of Florida, you're going through Mobile. So it's kind of part of some of our DNA, I guess. Mobile, Alabama today received or will receive they secured a $550 million, north of $500 million grant, free money from the feds to go towards a new Mobile River Bridge, a new Jubilee Parkway to their eastern shore, which is like the North Shore for Mobile, where the kind of more money affluent folks are, I guess. That's a game changer for them, Michael. It's going to be a $2-3 billion project, a new bridge, a new parkway to the eastern shore, no more traffic in the I-10 tunnel. But Mobile's got a very forward-thinking mayor, a white Republican who embraces the black community. They love him. Mobile's a forward-moving city, and if we don't watch ourselves, we're going to get passed by Mobile, Alabama. That's a transformative bridge and road project for them.
No, it's true. I mean, look, we're getting back on the front foot in terms of the container terminal, which was the place that they were beating us most recently. That was really my biggest concern. We're going to get that terminal built down in St. Bernard, and that's going to make sure that we're back in the game. But no, it's true. There's been this sense for a long time that we're going to continue to win in Louisiana because of the dint of what God gave us. And, that's called the resource curse.
Yep.
And places that don't have the resources have to have the right institutions and the right attitude. And that's why a place like an Iceland or an Israel, tend to do better over time. And so, we just have to stay on our toes, learn from our neighbors, and, we don't have many laurels left to rest on, frankly.
No, we don't. The Mississippi River, our natural resources, our history, our culture, we've burned it all up, last hour, Michael, it's ironic you mentioned the port container terminal. I was mentioning transformative things. The River District will be transformative. the container terminal in St. Bernard, $2 billion, coupled with the Violet to I-510 elevated roadway for the trucks and hurricane evacuation for St. Bernard. Those are transformative projects.
Yeah, they're transformative. A third one that I would put in there that we're working on is the 2-lane investment in downtown New Orleans. We got to make sure that happens with the investment in charity and the revitalization of the buildings around that, because that'll revitalize that whole part of downtown, which is, I don't know what the right word is now. It's not blighted, but it's pretty dormant.
No, it is, especially with 2-lane and LCMC and moving a lot of those jobs to West Jefferson Hospital, East Jefferson Hospital. So it's changed that 2-lane University, 2-lane Avenue corridor. Yeah, and right now, the Charity Hospital project's sort of in limbo, right?
Yeah, we got, basically there has been a change of developer. The price has gone up because of time and inflation. And we just got to find a way to get it back on track, because I believe that between the River District and the Downtown Medical District, we have a city and a region that's once again moving forward. The great quote from Richard Campanella, I always say it, is that cities exist in dynamic equilibrium like a bicycle. They're either moving and evolving and they're stable, or they stop moving and they wobble and fall over.
That's pretty good stuff. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. Hey, Michael, real quick, we'll just make this fast. The Municipal Auditorium, the city is working with like a Trinay neighborhood group, a 5-year plan to come up with what to do with the Municipal Auditorium. I think that's great. They're working with the neighborhood group. You got to work with the neighborhood group. That's how the projects came down. Working with the neighborhood and everybody's on the same page and everybody sees the positive on the other end and everybody wins. So you got to work with the neighborhood. I'm in total agreement. 5 years is way too long. It should be like 5 months and then break ground. And real quick, the money from like 2007, literally like 15 years ago plus, $42 million for the Municipal Auditorium. You talked about time and inflation. To redo the Municipal Auditorium, FEMA or insurance today would give you $250 million. Like $42 million is not going to get much done. Shouldn't the city take that $42 million, Michael, and put a new roof on the building, gut the building, maybe windows, doors, that type of stuff, whatever they can get done. Put some steel panels over the new windows and doors and kind of encapsulate the building until the excuse me on that. It kind of encapsulate the building with the $42 million until you get a public-private partnership to redo the Municipal Auditorium.
Good news is that we were talking about this week with Joe Threat from the city. They're going to be going in there. They're going to basically stabilizing it.
Nice.
They're not going to white box it, which means you put up drywall. They're going to be black boxing it.
Yeah.
Which means that you do all of the mechanicals, but you basically leave it as a stabilized shell.
Yep.
So that's happening, and Parks and Parkways is going to be fixing up the park for the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I don't know.
No, it's smart.
Why it took this long, but at least it's beginning to happen.
No, and that $42 million just keeps shrinking. It stays at $42 million, but with time and inflation, it's essentially shrinking. Like I said, it's probably like a $200 million redo. And but the $42 million can be used to, like you said, that's great. They're going to secure the building, tighten up the building. Yeah. That's excellent. Hey, Michael, Final Four 2031, the city's a finalist with Atlanta and Nashville. Even if we don't get that game, it almost ensures we'll get like the 32, 33, 34 game, right? Well, we're getting a Final Four within the next decade, it looks like, right?
That's right, yeah. And so, this Super Bowl is about more than just the Super Bowl. It's about demonstrating to not just the NFL, but to the entire kind of big event world that we're still one of the very best in the world at doing these large events. So there's a lot more at stake than this February 9th. It's the next Super Bowl. It's the Final Four. It's WrestleMania. It's everything that could go to one of the newer stadiums that's going to look and say, you know what, New Orleans with their downtown renovated dome is still one of the best places to do a major event.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The compactness of the city. I remember the old Philadelphia Eagles owner. His name was Norman Brayman. this is, 30, 40 years ago. He was like, this is a Philadelphia guy. The Super Bowl should be in New Orleans every year. That's what he said.
Yeah, I talked recently to a guy named Al Kelly, who used to be the CEO of Visa, and he did the New York Super Bowl in 2014. And he was describing just how difficult it was. If you remember, that was the one where they were trying to get everybody to take mass transit to go to the game over in the Meadowlands, and
wow.
the trains didn't work. And it was just a debacle, and it was cold. I mean, it was a one and done type of deal.
I've covered a few Super Bowls back in the day, and just to kind of give an example, it'd be like, hey, the Rams are practicing in Slidell. The Cowboys are practicing in Laplace. The press conferences in Hammond, and the games at the Dome. I mean, it's like that in most cities.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Just driving for 45 minutes to get from one venue to another, sitting in traffic. New Orleans, you're walking through a historic district, bars, restaurants, music clubs all around you. Everything's compact. It's pretty nice. Michael, any news? You're the point man for Governor Jeff Landry on the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Any new news? Any things you can announce? Something that's already happening? Something about to happen? And any new ideas you got via email?
So probably the newest stuff that's happening now is we're working on signage. I think we're going to be able to replace that signage in New Orleans East, that tombstone that's been there forever. We're working on power washing the expressways. That has started. Poydras Street is almost done. And now our big focus is going to be the French Quarter. That's kind of the real complicated thing we're trying to get done in the near term.
What's going down with the tombstone? Now, the Michael Hecht idea that started on this very segment, and I've embraced it and run with it and added to it. The clearing out, keeping the tombstone there, or clearing out that area with some mounding and hills, and getting, Blaine Kern and his crew to, because we gave our friggin' Saturn V rocket to Mississippi like a bunch of idiots, get him to make a mock-up Saturn V, a mock-up space shuttle with the tank, a mock-up Higgins boat, mock-up Chrysler tank engines, mock-up everything that we've done to win World War II and save the world and accomplish the greatest feat in mankind's history, put a man on the moon. Is that what you're talking about doing out in the East? Telling the truth on how we have, helped mankind in the world?
Yeah, I think it feels like, I'm trying to think about what this should be, Corey. If you're looking at it from the road, it kind of feels like it should be definitely, a rocket, an SLS or the Artemis or something. And then, I don't know, I think the question is, if you have a Higgins boat, can you really identify what that is from the road? I'm trying to think, do you just go with the rocket ship and kind of leave it at that?
No, I think you make a big Higgins boat, larger. You get Blaine Kern and his crew to make it. You have the door open and you have a bunch of guys running out armed, hitting the beach. Are you kidding me? Everybody will recognize that. Saturn V rocket, Artemis rocket, the external tank with the shuttle on top. The everything we've done out there in New Orleans, East Michoud. Like I said, we saved, Eisenhower said it, that Higgins saved the world. And we helped land man on the moon, the greatest accomplishment of mankind. That's pretty significant for New Orleans and New Orleans East. We helped save the world, and we put a man on the friggin' moon.
No, it is. I think that, let's keep thinking about this. I think you're right. We have to do both. We can figure out the way to do it.
Yep, no doubt. Hey, Michael, any back to the regular stuff you do? Any singles, doubles, triples, grand slam, home runs? Any economic news?
I'm trying to think if we have. There's no announcements imminent. There's some very big ones we're working on. That would be a grand slam if it comes in, but nothing that I think is going to be announced before the end of July, unless I'm missing something.
Let's see if I'm missing something. I pretty much think hit every topic I wanted to discuss with you. Anything you wanted to talk about that we're missing?
Oh, we got the Super Bowl stuff. Let's see. Essence was good. No, I think we're good. I think my job now is to go home and pick up some champagne. That was what the wife said. We're having bubbly tonight.
Oh, we'll end it this way, just because I want your take on this. And you may not have heard this, but it doesn't matter. I almost prefer it. to get your kind of just immediate opinion from your, since you're an Ivy League boy. The NFL, by the end of the year, Michael, is going to let teams sell up to 10% of their team, up to 10%, to private equity investment firms, to private equity groups.
Yeah.
I mean, just for instance, let's say the Saints are worth $5 billion.
Right.
Gail Benson could sell 10% of that team, not for $500 million, for probably like $1 billion or $2 billion, because there are only 32 teams. The track record of NFL growth, these equity firms are going to love it. They'll pay for their 10%. They'll pay 50% of today's value for the team.
Yeah. You know, Corey, I went to business school with a lot of these private equity guys, and they're smart guys, but they're the people who might know the price of everything and the value of nothing. Is that saying it right?
Yeah, and they may not know a price for a gallon of milk or a gallon of gas.
Yeah, you know, it's already the beer in the Dome is one of the most expensive prices in the NFL. I don't know, you know.
No, I'm with you. No, and I'm to be honest with you, Mike. I mean, you know this a lot better than me, because like you said, business school with these people, and you know these people a lot better than me. They're in your circle. What you do. Gail Benson, the Saints may not be doing that. I don't think all 32 NFL owners are going to do it. How you're weary about these equity firms, I think these NFL owners are going to feel the same way. Some are going to go all in, 10%. Some are going to sell 2, 3, 4, 5%. Some are going to sell none of it. Who knows what Gail Benson's going to do? She may have zero interest in that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an NFL owner, you already have extraordinary wealth. Is it really worth giving up control and having to deal with those guys in their khakis and blue shirts?
Unless they bring something to the table besides a check. But yeah, I'm with you. Michael, always a pleasure, brother.
Corey, have a fantastic weekend. Stay cool.
You too, man. Thanks. Boy, that's a, couldn't say it better myself. Stay cool. You need to stay cool. River City's Total Maintenance will help you stay cool. If your air conditioning or heat is not working right, or worse, not working at all, you don't have to go check into a hotel. You don't have to go sleep at the in-laws. You don't have to sleep in the heat. Fair and honest, Lucas and the boys will be at your place today, tonight, this afternoon, right now. If your AC is not working right, or worse, not working at all, weekday, weekend, holiday, overnight, River City's Total Maintenance is there. Fair and honest, Lucas and the boys. River City's Total Maintenance. Find them online, nolaac.com.
Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
From the owners of Katie's in Midcity and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Midcity.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Hey, Lebanon's Cafe is open till 9:30 tonight. As a matter of fact, 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 9:30, straight through the day. That means you can go to Lebanon's right now, get an early dinner. Lebanon's Cafe, lamb chop, shish kebab, shrimp, beef, chicken, lamb, shish kebab, yummy. All those favorite Middle Eastern sides, priced right, large portions, authentic, fresh. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette, in the Carrollton section of Uptown New Orleans. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. It's late in the program, but we still got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Steve Gleason, last night, ESPN's ESPY Awards. He took home the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. Which position did Steve Gleason play at Washington State University? Which position on the football field did Steve Gleason play in college? Which other sport did Steve Gleason play at Washington State University? Which coach, general manager brought Steve Gleason to New Orleans? And speaking of New Orleans, the Saints, the only Steve Gleason NFL team? Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. You got an answer to any of those 4 Steve Gleason questions? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at any of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. 2 on the South Shore, 2 on the North Shore in Baton Rouge. Which position in college did Gleason play? Which other sport in college did Gleason play? Which coach, general manager brought Gleason to New Orleans? And Gleason's NFL team, only the Saints or another one? 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480, 766-9480. Fletcher Mackel joined us to kind of start things off in the 4 o'clock hour, talking about last night's ESPYs and Gleason. Scott Craig also in the 4 o'clock hour talking food. Michael Hecht just joined us from Greater New Orleans Inc., talking a bunch of stuff. We mentioned what Mobile, Alabama landed today. You know, I was very happy about the $20 million that New Orleans got, I was reporting this yesterday, the Bywater Naval Base, $166 million project, 1,000 apartments, Poland Avenue, $20 million grant that's going to help get this thing going. Pretty psyched. Then I was like, what? Mobile, Alabama. And I'm so happy for Mobile. I like Mobile. I'm not jealous or envious or wish they weren't getting it. The opposite. This is great for Mobile. Maybe it'll motivate New Orleans. Mobile, Alabama landed a $550 million federal grant. New Orleans got $20 million yesterday for the Bywater thing. Mobile, Alabama, $550 million for a new Mobile River Bridge, I-10 bridge, and a new Jubilee Parkway, from the tunnel I-10 to that eastern shore. Their old twin span, 2 lanes in each direction, low down by the water. Not a big shoulder on the road at all. Kind of a dangerous, antiquated road. That's going to be $1 billion plus for a new Jubilee Parkway. Probably about $1.5 billion bucks. And the bridge over the Mobile River, another $1.5 billion. Somewhere $2.5 billion. Those 2 projects. They got about 20% of the money today. $550 million bucks from the feds. No, they get smart, work out some lower toll, maybe bigger toll for 18-wheelers or something. I don't know what it would be. But I mean, probably going to pay to go over that bridge. If they want to do it right, get it done quickly. I don't know how else they're going to get it done. How else do you fund something that's $2.5 to $3 billion when you got to come up with the other 75-80% of it? I would think a toll would be the only way. But no, congratulations to Mobile, Alabama. That's going to be a transformative project for that city. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Which position did Steve Gleason play at Washington State? What other sport did Gleason play in college? Which coach, general manager brought Gleason to New Orleans? Gleason's only NFL team, the Saints, or did he play somewhere else? 766-9480. You got an answer? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring. Every week when Michael Hecht joins us from Greater New Orleans Inc., that segment brought to you by Latrim. Latrim's hiring. And not 2 or 3 job openings, dozens and dozens and dozens of job openings at Latrim.com. For a full listing of positions available, a job, a career for you, go to Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M. Latrim.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Midcity.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top bench of more exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Weekend in New Orleans. You know what that means? Probably by default. Literally. Leidenheimer French bread will probably be on your plate sometime over the weekend. Grabbing a great po' boy. If it's an authentic New Orleans po' boy, it's probably going to be on Leidenheimer French bread, right? Dining at one of New Orleans' nicest restaurants. Nothing better than, because you're there, you're hungry, you're getting the meal started. They bring out that little mini loaf of Leidenheimer French bread in the little paper bag or the foil type bag or wrapped in a cloth napkin, piping hot with that room temperature butter. Tough to beat. That Leidenheimer French bread, part of the fabric, the DNA of the city of New Orleans for nearly 130 years. Chances are sometime this weekend, maybe tonight, Leidenheimer French bread will be on your plate. Since 1896, the official French bread of New Orleans, Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company. I should have mentioned that to Michael Hecht. Leidenheimer bakes all their bread in New Orleans, and they're shipping it out now to 30 states. 30 states. New Orleanians that know not only love Leidenheimer, they know it freezes like a champ. I'm single. I still get that 40-inch loaf of Leidenheimer, and I'll just take what I want for that night or make a sandwich or whatever, and then I'll cut up the other pieces and stick it in Ziploc freezer bags and stick that in the freezer. You can pull out one little piece you've cut, stick it in the oven for about 5-6 minutes at 350, just perfect. Like it came out of the bakery, like it's fresh. No, it freezes so well. Leidenheimer French bread. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fletcher Mackel joined us as usual, Fridays with Fletch. But today was kind of special because we talked about last night's ESPYs, the ESPN Annual Awards, their sports awards. They have an Author Ash Courage Award. New Orleanian, basically, official New Orleanian Steve Gleason got that Author Ash Award. And the video preview of Gleason and his wife and his family and his life and then the acceptance speech by Steve Gleason. Memorable stuff, great stuff. Go online, ESPN.com, and you can check all that out. The video, the preview video, and then the acceptance speech by Steve Gleason. ESPN.com, definitely worth looking at if you haven't already. What's that, Blue Boy? You were online just a little while ago, ESPN.com. You checked out both the video highlight, the preview, and his acceptance speech. Fantastic stuff, memorable, like Jim Valvano or Stuart Scott, Mount Rushmore type stuff. You're right. For years, for decades, we'll be watching that Steve Gleason acceptance video. You're right, Blue Boy. Have a great weekend, New Orleans. See you Monday.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.
Yes, it is.